Hi, welcome to Come Study with me, Elder Brock. Today, we will be looking at 1 Kings chapters 8 and 9. In 1 Kings chapter 8, the temple is no longer only a promise, a plan, or a building project. The house of the Lord is finished, and now it must be dedicated to God. Solomon gathers the elders of Israel, the heads of the tribes, and the leaders of the people. The Ark of the Covenant is brought up into the temple, and that moment is the heart of the dedication. The Ark mattered because it represented the covenant presence of the Lord among His people. The temple was beautiful, but beauty alone did not make it holy. Gold, stone, pillars, and carved wood were not enough. The house became sacred because it belonged to the Lord, and because His covenant was at the center. When the priests bring the ark into the most holy place, the glory of the Lord fills the house. The cloud is so powerful that the priests cannot stand to minister. This teaches a truth that every generation needs to remember. Worship is not about human performance. It is about the presence of God. The temple was not built so Israel could admire itself. It was built so Israel could turn toward the Lord. Then Solomon stands before the people and blesses the Lord. He remembers the promise given to David. He understands that God has kept His word. The temple dedication is not just a royal ceremony. It is a testimony that the Lord is faithful to His covenant. Solomon then kneels before the altar and offers one of the great prayers of the Old Testament. He asks the Lord to hear from heaven. Again and again, Solomon uses the language of hearing, forgiving, returning, and mercy. He prays for Israel when they sin, when they are defeated, when heaven is shut up, when famine or sickness comes, when enemies threaten, and even when they are carried away captive. His prayer recognizes something very honest. Covenant people will still need mercy. That matters. The temple is not only a place for the perfect. It is a place where repentant people turn back to God. Solomon knows that sin separates people from the Lord, but he also knows that the Lord is merciful when His people turn, confess, pray, and seek Him again. Solomon even prays for the stranger who is not of Israel. He asks that when a foreigner comes because of the Lord's great name and prays toward the house, the Lord will hear. That moment points forward to the gathering of all nations. The house of the Lord was never meant to be only about one family looking inward. It was meant to witness that the God of Israel is the God of the whole earth. For us, Solomon's dedicatory prayer points to Jesus Christ. He is the reason mercy is possible. He is the true mediator between heaven and earth. He is the one who hears the cry of the repentant, forgives through His atonement, and opens the way back to the Father. So 1 Kings chapter 8 teaches this temple truth. The house of the Lord is a house of prayer, covenant, mercy, and return. God hears His people when they turn to Him. He remembers His promises. And through Jesus Christ, He invites wandering hearts to come home. 1 Kings chapter 9 begins after the dedication. The prayers have been spoken. The temple and Solomon's house have been completed. Then the Lord appears to Solomon again. This moment is important because it shows that dedication is not the end of covenant life. Dedication is the beginning of deeper responsibility. The Lord tells Solomon that He has heard his prayer. He says that He has hallowed the house, placing His name there. That is a sacred promise. The temple is not ordinary ground. It is a place set apart for the Lord's name, His eyes, and His heart. But the Lord also gives Solomon a warning. If Solomon will walk before the Lord with integrity of heart and uprightness, as David did, then the Lord will establish the throne of Israel. The promise is real. The covenant blessing is real. But it is connected to faithfulness. Then comes the warning. If Solomon or Israel turns away, refuses the commandments, and serves other gods, the temple itself will not protect them from judgment. The house that once stood as a witness of holiness could become a witness against rebellion. People would ask why such destruction came, and the answer would be that Israel forsook the Lord. That is a sobering lesson. Sacred places are not magic shields. Being near holy things does not replace obedience. A temple blessing is not meant to cover a divided heart. The Lord's house calls people to covenant faithfulness. This chapter also reminds us that spiritual success can become spiritually dangerous if the heart begins to drift. Solomon had wisdom, wealth, peace, and the temple. But the Lord still warned him to remain faithful. No blessing is strong enough to save us if we turn away from the God who gave it. The Savior's invitation is the opposite of drifting. Jesus Christ calls us to abide in Him. He does not only invite us to visit holy places. He invites us to become holy people. Through Him, the promises of God are sure, but He asks for hearts that continue to walk with Him. So 1 Kings chapter 9 teaches the second temple truth. Dedication must become discipleship. The Lord hears covenant prayer, but He also calls His people to covenant obedience. The temple is holy because the Lord places His name there. Our lives become holy as we keep His name in our hearts and remain faithful to Jesus Christ.